Hello, everybody. It is I, Dory K, joining me on the analyst desk is Stonefeld, and we've already gotten started in our draft here tonight. To no surprise, Skarner ban first thing.
Yep, just like we talked about earlier on the analyst desk, Skarner ban coming out, not letting AOE have this, pick that they really were dominant on. And here comes some more jungle bans. It's not over yet, as Hecarim, Udyr, and Volibear are all taken out.
And they are just absolutely flying through this draft. You see such jungle priority being taken away in bans from AoE, as well as the Skarner on the side of Glaive, but you actually see a little bit of that AoE sprinkled in with the Malphite getting banned. They're definitely targeting that team fight prowess that AoE tends to win off of, especially first picking the Thresh, but it's almost like they're anticipating something like the Tristana Rel maybe. However, we would want to see kind of what happened with the recent nerfs to Tristana. I believe the patch was today, yes?
Yeah, today, yeah.
Yeah. So, very, very recent nerfs to a few champions that AoE might play in response. Tristana maybe might not have the same level of priority, but it looks like AoE disagrees here.
Yeah. And here comes the Gragas. Tristana definitely, she got nerfed a little bit, but can still be a really good late game carry. And maybe it's just a comfort thing as we kind of see a Kai'Sa coming in as well. I think these teams are just picking champions that they're comfortable on. But the speed of this draft makes me think that these teams have really done their preparation and they know what they want to play here in game one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't blame them, especially being in a league that plays on Wednesdays, with patch day being Wednesday almost always.
Yeah.
It makes complete sense to just play what you're comfortable with. And we actually see the Elise lock in. We're gonna go deep in these junglers' pockets today.
Yeah, the Elise coming in. I think that this is a champion that's been slept on in the meta recently. I think Elise brings a lot to the team, and especially if you can build, you can itemize as an assassin for some of that lockdown. Bringing in, I'm blanking on the item, the frozen item that allows you to actually
Everfrost.
Everfrost, thank you. Yeah, if you can build Everfrost on Elise, you can CC people for like way too long. Like it's not fun to play against.
That's absolutely right. I actually personally had never considered that, but it makes a ton of sense, especially given the kind of awkward state of some of the other AP items, at least for Elise. Like, she likes Leandries, right? But she definitely doesn't like Ludens. Night Harvester is, yeah, that assassin build, but at the same time, Night Harvester isn't in the greatest spot right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That being said, we actually see some like bot mid lane flex bans coming out here. Actually, the Lucian going down, trying to target Totemax here, along with the the Lulu ban and Alistar ban, definitely targeting things that can help Beastlands out. We talked about in the pre-show about how Jabber kind of gets strapped on to Beastlands and they play that way, so really good targeted bans from the side of Glaive here.
Yeah, and I really like what AOE are doing in their draft right now. This Gragas, I believe, is a triple flex for their team. They can play at support, they can play at jungle, or can play at top. And so it's kind of awkward for Glaive to do second round bans there. Now they're saying, here we go, we're going to pick Leona. It's not a Gragas support, but it's still flexible. They still don't know exactly where it's going. It could go to the jungle, or it could go to the top side of the map as well.
Yeah, and while we fix the cameras for now, we actually have a Leona locked in on the red side for Jabber, so that's going to be a Tristana Leona going into Kai'Sa Thresh here. What is Glaive going to do to respond? They do see the Yasuo Gragas combo already out, and they have both soul laners to lock in. One of them's going to be blind here, or both.
Yeah. Again, they don't know exactly what's going on here. They lock in the Zed. Glaive really picking aggression and comfort here is what I feel like they're going for. And AOE are drafting this team fight composition that's going to, they have all sorts of setup and lockdown for this Yasuo to just get on the back line and start wrecking these carries.
Yeah, and you can see that they're trying to make a quick transition on the side of Glaive into something that plays through side lanes a little bit better. You have the Zed, you have Shen able to impact the map from the other side. However, you can see at this point their team fighting prowess not going to be quite at the level of Yasuo, Gragas, Leona. The only thing is I want to see how Gragas ult does at getting the immediate follow-up, because if Gragas ult is able to displace everybody immediately, it kind of makes it difficult for Leona, especially if this Ornn's going to get locked in. We want to try to keep everyone bunched together on this AoE squad here.
Yeah, a bit of a non-bow with the Gragas coming out and the Ornn and Leona. Like you said, Gragas thrives in situations where there's chaos on the map, right? Like he wants to create that chaos and he wants to single out a target, while Ornn and Leona want them to group up, and even Yasuo wants them to group up for those big sort of wombo combos. So yeah, a bit of a non-bow there, but I think these teams are good enough to pull it off. On the other side, um, this Shen pick is, again, it's pretty comfortable, and I like what it's going to be able to do to get to some of these side lanes. Glaive has a really, really good pick composition. They can start fights pretty much at any time. With the Shen able to come in at the last minute and give a huge shield and be there. So yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to see out of these two teams. I want to see them, playing different styles and seeing which one is going to win. Glaive coming out with really, really aggressive style here, and AOA looks like they want to scale for the late game. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, and this absolutely screams comfort, at least from the side of Totemax. That instant Zed lock in when he sees the Yasuo. He's saying, nope, sharp circle, we're not doing this today. I am going to take this game to you. I am going to beat you in lane, and I don't think that your jungle pairing is going to impact us that much.
Yeah, and with a champion like Zed, it's like, okay, you can show up in my lane, but I'm almost always going to have an escape ready to go. If you play, the matchup correctly, I'm almost always going to be able to get out of here, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And to be completely honest, it almost isolates the matchup until level 6. Because while Gragas is very impactful, again, Zed has that insane degree of mobility. Yasuo has the wind wall. It kind of keeps Elise from tossing in just a stray E
Yeah,
and trying to get a good gank. So I'm actually looking to see a little bit more impact from the junglers, maybe on the bot side early, until that Gragas Yasuo combo could really come into fruition. And you can look to those mid game team fights maybe around 2 items.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and the Zed pick here for Glaive Esports, looking it up now, it's been picked 5 times and won 5 times. So this is definitely some comfort and something that they've had success on during the regular season. So we got to see if AOE can kind of come in here and knock the Zed down a notch and say, nope, this champion is not played in the meta for a reason. Let me show you why.
That is absolutely right. And to be completely honest, like, is it as much comfort as it is maybe, I don't know, something that could make him nervous? What if he's afraid of losing that 100% win rate? Maybe that's just like subconsciously in his mind right now. Maybe he's worried about it and he's saying, "Wow, can I keep that up against such a strong team fighting comp?" Well, I sure hope so, because he's gonna need that side lane control, and quite frankly, playing the double ninja comp may be the way to do it.
Yeah. The other thing I want to see from this game is we talked about how supports are probably going to roam a lot more. I want to see this Leona getting into the middle lane and having an impact on this Zed for sure, and helping the Yasuo get ahead early. I think that that's something that can happen here. Is if Zed gets behind, he's not going to be able to be impactful. He's not going to be able to one shot any of the carries in these mid game team fights like you're talking about. So I think it's very crucial that this Leona gets helps her Yasuo get online as soon as possible.
And that's really telling too. What do you think of the jungle matchup specifically between Elise and Gragas, and how I guess the priority and the lanes surrounding them is going to impact what they can do this in the early game here?
Yeah, these jungle picks are exactly what I expected to come out. I feel like this is the only position we're truly seeing adapt to the nerfs in the patch that we're on right now. With Gragas and Elise coming out, being more gank heavy junglers, they're not as the farm junglers of the Lilia, Udyr, and Olaf that we've seen in previous games. And I've seen Male Scout do really well on this. I haven't seen McShootums do as well. So I think that McShootums could surprise me and play around these lanes a lot. And Elise has some really good setup in the top side with Shen. So when you play Elise, you want the laner to have CC as well, so that you can land your cocoon a lot easier, right? Zed doesn't have that, and Yasuo is really, really mobile. So it's going to be tough to play around the mid lane, to where Gragas, if he brings Predator, just like runs into the lane, flash body slam, is just a little bit easier to hit, even though Zed is also really slippery. So I do like the mid jungle 2v2 from AoE God Squad here, and Sharp Circle and Mel Scout have showed us that they know how to do this, and that's exactly how they want to play the game.
That's exactly right. And I actually like the point that you just brought up about Elise's ability to do her early clear. She's on blue side. She has a really efficient path to go from red, blue, Grump and go straight top. And there's enough I don't know how you feel about this, but in my opinion, there's enough CC that Bellow's breath might not be enough to actually escape. Ornn might be forced to blow a flash early and forfeit priority over to the Shen, and that gives Shen a free lane. Gives him the ability to contest Scuttle, and it kind of puts a little bit more pressure on Scout and Sharp Circle in the early game and lets Shen basically breeze his way to level 6 when fights can start breaking out.
Yeah, and if Elise could sort of bridge that gap for Shen to make sure he can get to level 6 with priority, that's when the ultimate's unlocked, right? That's when Kiba's gonna be like, "Ult me, I'm going in," like I'm on my way, and just ult me. I promise, I'm gonna carry this fight. That sort of communication can definitely come out in the comms as soon as that happens. With Ornn, maybe not being able to match because if this Elise blows a flash, then maybe Ornn has to TP because of a bad lane state. So yeah, I think that's definitely how they win this game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, there is one contingency as well that kind of happens in that mid game around the third dragon. Like, obviously, some Drakes are a little bit more powerful than others when you have one in isolation. But say you're getting to that first dragon when you get to Soul. You've got a team that took the first two. Who do you think has an inherent advantage when you're basically forced to all collapse on that third dragon?
I think AOE God Squad has the advantage there. I think Glaive, what they need to do is try and stack those dragons as fast as they can. Because if Tristana and Yasuo and Ornn get to this middle to late game area where you do have to group around these objectives, then you're going to see Beast Lance and Sharp Circle just absolutely popping off. Because there's not outside of the Shen here, who's probably going to be split pushing on a side lane anyway, isn't going to be there at the beginning of a fight. There's not a lot of beef for Glaive. And if Beast Lance and Sharp Circle can start doing a lot of damage in those mid game team fights, then Glaive's going to have some real problems.
I agree wholeheartedly, but we're going to have to take a look after a break here and see what happens because we are actually loading into the game here shortly. We've got Totemax trying to defend that 100% win rate, Glaive Esports trying to head into the finals next week against Omega Gaming, and AOE God Squad trying to play upset here. So don't wait too long. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome onto the Rift for game number 1 of this best of 5 series. It's the number 2 seed Glaive Esports Rose taking on the number 3 seed AOE God Squad in Gungeon. Oh boy, do we have the matchup of the century in the mid lane. 2 to max on Zed, the first team all-pro mid laner, going up against Sharp Circle on the Yasuo, the third team all-pro mid laner, both bringing Ignite. It's it's going to be a hype matchup as we get into this game number 1.
This is gonna be a spicy one, and I think I might be cause to why this is happening. I did challenge Totemax to a Z1v1 while we were in lobby, just waiting around. I am a Z proficionado, an
Oh, of
aficionado,
course.
proficient
Of course you are, good sir.
aficionado as well. So I know this matchup in and out, and I think Totemax kind of said, you know what, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna play the Z into game number 1 of semifinals here, and this is gonna be a spicy one because as much as the bot lanes look scary, everybody, the Kai'Sa Thresh, you see the Tristana Leon, you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen down there? Nothing. I promise you, nothing will happen besides the
Really?
mid lane, and we are gonna see an absolute brawl for all in the mid lane.
Kiba Issei though in the bot lane, and even though it is Zephyr might be in chat watching, I do want to point out how comfortable Kiba is on this pick, and already looking at Nick Shoot'em's path in, he is close to this bot lane flash available, and he's walking right in. Issei gonna flash play, Beast Lance is locked down, the Cocoon is going to connect. Mick Shoot'em's with the gank, no summoners available, that's gonna be first blood. Going over to Glaive in the bot lane. Gungeon, what happened? You promised!
I promised you guys, but I didn't realize that McShoots, he brought up the stinky cheese for game number 1 already. Pathing right after red into mid lane as well.
I'm smelling something for Sharp Circle once again. He's finding the gank. No amount of Yasuo dodging around is going to stop the inevitable. That's another kill going over to a solo, or at least a carry for Glaive eSports. That's Totemax getting gold, Kiba getting gold, and Mick Shoot'em's on the Elise. 2 assists, 2 big ones to start off this series.
Nick Shoot said he wanted to make an impact, and what an impact he just made. Gank bot, run mid, gank mid. What a play by this Elise, and the snowball is already starting. Obviously, Totemax is not going to be able to fully push the wave to not deny Sharp Circle the entire mid wave, but that early gold is going to make it so that that serrated Dirk is going to come in a lot quicker. In this matchup, I've actually played it a lot, and I lost as the Zed. I was unfortunate enough to play against a smurfing Yasuo's Zed matchup. He absolutely dumped me, but Mousescout.
What a brutal flash body slam to make that gank happen. Sharp Circle picking up the kill. Don't sleep on Mousescout just yet. Doesn't even have the Predator boots yet, Gungeon. And that is going to make the mid lane matchup even spicier because Sharp Circle getting some much needed gold.
And that's a really timely gank by Mousescout as well. It is going to end up denying Totemax a couple of minions. So in terms of overall, it's going to even out as Sharp Circle and Totemax, who should be around the same gold point. But XP lead is going to go over to Sharp Circle for getting that kill, plus being able to crash the entire minion wave and deny all of that CS from Totemax. Again, this is a brawl for all, and both of the junglers are looking for it early. Predator, Gragas, McShoot's just going for the play. We do have Mousescout down here, but I am surprised that they are looking for something. This is the big thing. This is why I mentioned that the bot lane matchup is kind of a farce. It does look explosive, but in terms of how the lane does play out, it is really hard for Beast Lance and Jabber to really ever get an engage off on Kiba and Issei, as the Thresh Flay does pretty much disengage a lot of it. Beast Lance as well can pretty much he can time the rocket jumps to get out of any sort of Issei engage. So in terms of safety, unless there's jungle intervention, we won't see bot lane be a lot of kill pressure, except if McShoots goes bot lane again.
And that's going to be the flash burned out of Jabber. No Hex Flash on this Leona. He's going to be without the Summoner spell in its entirety, as we see in the top lane, Flaming Thunder trying to do a little bit of the opposite of what he's used to, looking to get a freeze off. I don't know if he got enough caster minions. It doesn't look like he got enough of a wave from Miho to freeze that wave. So the Shen going to be able to back, not forced to use teleport or anything to break that freeze. And looking forward for the next couple minutes, Gungeon, Miho level 5 on the Shen. We were expecting a lot of action around this mid lane. And in just a couple minutes or so, Miho's suddenly going to have the opportunity to join that action as well.
Yeah, the Miho taking away the Shen from Flaming Thunder is a little bit of a kind of stylistic pick, as well as a takeaway, because Flaming Thunder does like to opt for that Shen matchup a lot. He is very comfortable on it. He has a lot of, especially with kind of forcing plays with Jabber around the map. A lot of times you will see Flaming Thunder on the Shen kind of just ulti onto Jabber and then just dive bot lane or dive mid lane as well. So it is a great pickup for Miho here. He is just going to be able to kind of scale it through. The big thing I want to mention is that the supports are now unlocked. They've gotten their boots, they've gotten their first backs off, and you can see the amount of vision wars that are already happening as we're going to get a spicy first dragon with the Infernal Drake up first. And everyone is already here for the party.
Tudamax did back. The Zed is not in the area. The Lantern's going to be taken. Jabber does find Issei with the Zenith Blade with the last breath as well. Issei gets deleted off of the Mac. McShoot'em's going to try to repel out of this sticky situation. Is going to avoid the NATO as well as the Zenith Blade. The slippery spider is going to be singing still. A Sharp Circle without his ultimate dash in around McShoot'em's with the Death Mark available. He is going to actually use it onto Sharp Circle. That's a lot of damage coming through the wind wall. Is it going to be able to stop that? The Shuriken from behind is going to be able to finish off the Yasuo. Well played there from the Glaive mid laner.
And Beastlance might have not gotten that invitation to that party as Kiva and every member on Glaive eSports Rose was ready to tussle around that Infernal Drake. Great engage by Scout and Jabber getting onto Issei there, but weren't able to they kind of overstepped a little bit too much after not getting the shoots there.
Right.
Forced it a little bit too hard and ended up paying the price. And now Totemax is in a dominant position mid. He's just going to kill Scout.
He has not a lot of energy left. This is going to be Sharp Circle dashing back in, and oh, what do you know? There is a Forage God in the river here. Tudamax going to try to flash away, but here's the call. It's for you, Tudamax. That's going to be another kill. Going over to AOE God Squad. They're fighting back, Gunjin.
They're fighting back, and you, as Totemax and Sharp Circle concede, all attention, all eyes are on you two, and every time they overstep, every time they go a little bit greedy, try to get the extra minions, try to push the wave in, they are getting punished over and over again. Great play by both of these teams to kind of identify the big red, like, exclamation mark that is sitting in the mid lane for both of these teams. McShoots is going to be able to pick up the dragon just because of the bot lane tempo they did get with the Kiva and Issei, and they're going to try to go for the play.
Play is going to miss, but Issei looking for the hook is going to connect onto Jabber. Good guys support, protecting the ADC. Beastlands just having to rocket jump away from that one, says Salu in chat, good buddy. Sharp Circle, meanwhile, looking for the slice and dice through the minions onto Tudamax. He's going to look to stick around McShoot'em's on a control ward. Going to just try to clear that one away.
And this matchup in the mid lane is a very
Sharp.
Going for it.
He's looking to try to get the kill. The cocoon is going to connect, and an explosion! Tudamax, what was that? He just deleted Sharp Circle off of the Rippa. Meanwhile, the explosive cast going to connect onto Issei. Jabber getting the kill score on that one, but Scout, I tip my hat to you, good sir. That was a pick in the making. AOE God Squad get a little back.
And I'm just laughing because you can see the amount of pressure that is just being exerted mid lane. Sharp Circle looks for a solo 1v1 play, but nothing in this game is going to be solo. If you step up, McShoots is going to be right there. Issei is right there as well. And a great play by Totemax because it looked like Sharp Circle did have the 1v1 kill, but a great cocoon leads into Totemax's full burst combo, and you can see the power of this assassin already as he just one-shots him right then and there. And you can see kind of the focus. We talked about it. The bot lane matchup, Kiva versus Beastlands. How exciting is it as you just see both AD carries
Nothing would happen!
Nothing happens. Nothing happens unless it's centered around the mid lane. And again, they're just farming up, but this mid lane matchup is getting more and more spicy. I do want to kind of commentate on how this mid lane matchup does work. I do think this is a skill matchup, but it is Yasuo favorite. As we're going to see the mid lane engage. He's dead.
A lot of skill coming through there, Gunjin. What do you think about that one?
I know for a fact when I said he's dead, Zephyr kind of cringed a little bit, but he is. I couldn't even finish my statement out. Scout goes. If that E body slam flash is up, Totemax is most likely going to be the recipient. The Shen ulti tries to come in to try to save him, but the cooldown is going to go for naught as they pick up the kill, and they are going to try to go get this Rift Herald objective to try to give Sharp Circle a little bit more of this gold around the mid side.
Right, it's a lot of picks going over to the side of AOE God Squad with that pressure. Turret plating is still up. This is still a good time, I feel like, for a pretty early Herald. And it looks like no contest is going to be available. McShootums going to walk into the river, though. Look, he's going to smite steal. McShootums gets the Rift Herald, but is that going to cost him his life? Repel, nowhere left to run. He's going to be able to flash, get the eye as well. Gold Forge God coming through. Sharp Circle going to be able to finish off the Elise. Tunimax going to shadow dash his way out. Doesn't want any more of the fight. Glaive eSports Rose get the objective.
It was tragic. The Rift Herald eyes just turned perfectly for McShoots to just throw in his auto and get the 1500 damage proc. Great steal by McShoots, goes for the flash, secures the Rift Herald, because again, at that point, I thought with the Rift Herald pickup right there, they could try to break open mid lane and then have Sharpsicle sitting in this longer lane, and that's when it gets scary. When Sharpsicle is sitting on one item, plus sitting in a longer lane where he can chase down Totemex, he can chase down if anybody matches him like Miho as well. I thought that was kind of break open the game for the side of AOE God Squad, but great steal by McShoots kind of just makes that play kind of go in the air, and wow, this is a brawl right now. You can see how the supports are positioned. Even in that play, as they were not involved, both supports were already running to the Rift Herald pit on cooldown.
On cooldown, McShootums right now close to the mid lane, gonna try to lay down some ward coverage to provide any sort of security to Tunimax's the Rift Herald in the Glaive inventory. Might just drop it down right here. Gotta watch out for Mill Scout. Last Breath is available. Explosive Cast gonna be coming up in just a moment. Deathmark as well. A lot of ultimates available. It's gonna be the Wind Wall blocking any sort of offensive, as Shelly's given a lot of gold to only McShootums. Tunimax in the area doesn't get any charity.
And they do end up dropping the Rift Herald mid, just trying to get some sort of gold over to Totemax. Isn't going to be, I don't believe it was in range to pick up a decent amount of that gold, but McShoot's is just sitting.
Sharp Circle dash in.
Oh my god.
The NATO is going to miss it onto the Spider. Flaming Thunder having teleport Miho. Stand United is available. Might just opt for the push instead, because numbers advantage right now is here. McShootum's still going to walk up. Has to be careful. Does get knocked up. Jabber, ultimate available. Doesn't want to press the go button just yet, Gunjin. They want the objective. Melscout going to be able to smite secure that one. Jabber still looking on the offensive, though. Now knows he has the damage follow-up. Solar Flare going to miss, but Totemax still getting locked down. The call of the Forge God once again coming through. Stand United going to be used. Totemax is just fine for the moment. Miho going to find a huge Shadow Dash. Everyone is taunted up, but no damage follow-up. Kiba is in the bot lane. Glaive still looking to make this fight work as Issei with a huge hook under the turret. That's going to be able to finish off Flaming Thunder, as it's a 1-for-1 trade so far.
It is a 1-for-1 trade, but the person that was not involved, that's going to be really important as this game does go along, is Kiba. Was able to pick up Glaive in the bot lane, has a 1200 gold lead over his AD carry counterpart, and honestly, great play by Glaive there. Oh, he's going for it!
Kiba's got him! Beastlance, you gotta be careful where you're rocket jumping around. This is a Glaive bot lane, the Lantern just in case. Style points from Kiba there. Beast kill coming through.
And all of the play is kind of centered around this mid lane, and it well should be, because both these teams are picked these very hyper and very scaling mid laners that can kind of turn on a dime. But a big play by the side of Glaive is that they're able to get limited losses with only 4 members, while Kiba is just picking up wave after wave, XP after XP, and you can see right there, Beastland is trying to just catch away, but mid lane, he's... I'm sorry.
Doesn't even need the mythic item, Gunjin. Doesn't even need it. Doesn't even want it. Can handle the Zed just fine. And I think the biggest thing that's been coming through with this matchup is just the ultimate diff. Last Breath's just been up more, you know?
Yeah, Last Breath is definitely...
Oh no, his internet crashed. Oh, I've lost my co-pilot. He's gonna be rebooting, joining the cast shortly. I was hanging on there for a second. I didn't know if that was just me, but at least you guys have the Mac to lead you through this upcoming fight. It's been a very back and forth start to this best of 5 here in the semifinals. The 2 seed Glaive eSports and the 3 seed AOE God Squad have not disappointed on the action meter thus far, doing a really solid job giving us an entertaining start to the series. We see Glaive doing a solid job being aggressive in the jungle. That's going to be 2 CC chain coming through. Jabber gets deleted off of the combo. This is what you got to worry about with Glaive eSports as they head into the mid game. They do such a solid job roaming together as a squad, looking for picks where really other teams just wouldn't be there on the map. They're not used to playing up against such an aggressive squad. AOE need to find some more ways to trade because suddenly they are down 3,000 gold. Glaive with a 2-tower advantage are looking really solid to open up this game, while Melscout meanwhile finding the explosive cast combo, the killer instinct and the lantern shield coming through. Kiba is going to stay alive through this. Now Melscout getting real low. Kiba on a rampage. Knows he has Miho standing with him. Sharp Circle, meanwhile, caught out the flash. Tonkin, I think, missed there. Sharp Circle doing just fine. Called Forge God, gonna knock up all 4. The last breath coming through, but Kiba is just fine, dishing out the damage in the backline. Miho will fall, but Tutamax does find a kill in that engage. Issei missing the hook. Jabber, Beastlance can't look for the engage just yet. Glaive just fine, get a huge turn of events there in the mid lane. That was a 2-for-1 in their favor.
2-for-1. They are going to be able to walk over to this Rift Herald as well, and now they're kind of trying to break open the state of this game. Sorry about that, just some technical difficulties on my end, but we are back with the Mac attack and the Fusion cast.
I missed
what
you,
a
man.
game.
I missed you. I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad we can ride this out together because the action isn't slowing down yet. I mean, Melscout's going to be finding the engages. There's so many combos with the last breath in this one. I wonder if this game goes late, if AOE God Squad is going to be able to make this one work. They're even having the positional advantage around this third Drake.
I think, as again, the scaling difference, I do think is in AOE God Squad's favor. The big person that does turn that is going to be Kiba on this Kaisa pick. He can get a lot of work done. The fear is that he's not going to be able to have a lot of kind of members he wants to auto. As this dragon is going down, he shoots, he might look for the steal, but looks like they're just going to give over the Cloud Dragon here as AOE God Squad picks up their second dragon. And Flaming Thunder is going to be able to TP back to top to cover and make sure that nothing goes down up there.
Miho slowly but surely turning into that split push threat. Only has the Tiamat and the Turbo Chem Tank. Are you surprised at all by that itemization, Gunjin?
I think with the nerfs to Sunfire, it's not as kind of core built on every single tank, and I think he doesn't want to get the Frostfire because, again, he can slow down Flaming Thunder, but does he ever have any sort of kill pressure? Probably not. The Speedy Shen is going to be the play for Miho here, as he just tries to lock down. I mean, his hope is that he can lock down Sharp Circle. If he locks down Sharp Circle with the taunt in any of these fights, I think at that point, it is so advantaged for Glaive because a lot of his comp is just built around Sharp Circle dashing in and out of these fights. They are going to be able to take a mid lane inner as AOE God Squad were on a really weird, on an awkward reset after the Cloud Dragon, and the gold lead does now balloon up to that 5k gold mark. And the big member I want to watch is going to be Kiba here. He is so strong, and he's going to be the member that's going to have to eventually kill Flaming Thunder because Totomax can do a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it is just an Ornn you're facing. There's not going to be much in the kit. Oh, they're going for the 20 minutes.
Kiba is here. He's also 3,000 gold ahead. Look at the item advantage compared to Beastlands Tristana. Kiba with the Collector already online. He is ready for this fight while Baron Nashor's health pool is absolutely plummeting. The Call to Forge God is going to be brought in. Where is Sharp Circle? What an interrupt there from Issei's Thresh. Look at Totomax in the backline. He zoned off Beastlands. He zoned off the entire squad. Now the Stand United isn't going to be able to save his life just yet. Meanwhile, Kiba on the top side of this fight is going to find Flaming Thunder. And Issei, another hook, another pick from this massive thresh. McShoot'em's going to sink his fangs into Beast Lance. Jabber and Sharp Circle, the only ones left, but the damage is here. Kiba is healthy, and Glaive eSports Rose have found themselves the ace.
I felt the Yasuo montage right at the end, but Sharp Circle wasn't able to get anything down there. Great play by Kiba is in terms of just overall kind of awareness of the map. Kiba just runs down Flaming Thunder to make sure that no tank is alive for the team fight, and Melscout kind of just tunnel vision, and you mentioned it, Issei lands a beautiful hook, Melscout gets immediately just obliterated, and at that point there's nobody to set up Sharp Circle in these fights for that last breath, and the team fight just falls apart. And at 21 minutes in, Glaive take a commanding lead with a 7k gold lead plus the Baron Nashor buff going into this mid game.
Went from like a dagger to a completed Ruan's Hurricane. He's got 3 completed items in total. In Beast Lance on this Tristana pick, what's supposed to dominate the early game and then never fall off is only on 1 completed item in a BF sword. Glaive doing such a solid job in this game. Oh my goodness, look at Totemax once again. This time he has the death mark available. Gunjin, he's dashing around, waiting to go back to that shadow. After the tornado is thrown, Sharp Circle just gonna have to walk away from that one. Totemax unable to find the kill, but lives to see another day. Meanwhile, Melscout in his own jungle. It's an easy hook. A true, not even a death sentence from Issei. It's been more like death exclamation points so far. 0-2-10 on the Thresh. So many big plays coming through from Issei in game number 1.
And we went into this matchup looking at the Zed versus Yasuo matchup, and at the end of the day, it just turned into a little bit of a Kiba dish, as he's just kind of taking over this game, and they're just forcing it down. This mid lane inhibitor tower is kind of is going to be dead pretty soon. They are calling Ornn over to this play, but again, you mentioned it, Kiba is just so far ahead of Beast Lance at this point. The play for AOE God Squad was respond with the aggression that McShootz had shown in the early game. Let's send Melscout, let's send Jabber, let's overstack that mid lane so McShootz's little bit of cheese never happens again. But at that point, Kiba was just farming, making sure he was getting stronger and stronger. And during the entire time, Beast Lance is being called over. Everyone, I think AOE God Squad had a good game plan going into this, but they just tunneled so hard into making sure Sharp Circle is safe, making sure he can carry, and at the entire time, Kiba's just sitting in the side lane, just farming. And a big pick I want to mention was going to be the Miho Shen. He was just able to dissuade so many of these 5v5 kind of like wombos that tried to happen mid-side. And during the entire time, Kiba's just free farming, and now we're at the point where he's sitting on 3 items. Beast Lance is barely, I mean, I would say that's an item and a quarter at this point. And there's just nothing they can do because, again, you do have the scaling advantage, but Kiba's not going to let you get to that point. He is way too far ahead for that to happen.
Sharp Circle did complete the Affinity Edge, and we have to watch, can AOE God Squad from 10k gold down find the Wombo combo? That's going to be the explosive cast, but not in range of Sharp Circle. I feel like it's another big miscommunication coming through from AOE.
There's just, at this point, it feels like there's a little bit of a tunnel to try to kill Kiba. Kill Kiba, but you can't tunnel so far that you're walking past the front line of McShootz as the team fight starts.
That is going to be another call to Forge God interrupt from Issei. Flaming Thunder unable to use that in conjunction with Sharp Circle. It's going to be another hook landed from Issei. The Cathian raining down on AOE right now. Jabber looking for the engage, but can't find anything. The Buster shot to try to buy some amount of space for AOE God Squad to try to come back into this one. Sharp Circle does still have his ultimate, but Glaive have opened up the base.
They've opened up the base, and it looks like they're going to try to put kind of the death knell on this game. They have the wave up top side, and it doesn't look, again, Glaive is known for their aggression. Kiba is kind of like the head of the ship, or the head of the snake at that point, where he wants to force fight after fight after fight. They're going for it.
Dabber in the Zenith Blade, that's going to be the knockup coming through as well from Flaming Thunder. Totemax dashing in, but a lot of damage absorbed from the Wind Wall. The Death Mark not going to be able to take down anyone. The Assassin does get taken down. Kiba exploded on, shut down over to Flaming Thunder. This is what AOE God Squad have been looking for this entire game. Mel Scout flash body slam forward. That's going to be the shutdown going over to the Gragas. AOE, did that fight come in too late? What can they get on the map? Baron spawning in 90 seconds, Dragon in 30. Have they just delayed the inevitable here?
It was a great fight for them as Flaming Thunder is able to just knock up Kiba, and at that point Sharp Sickle is able to get on and try to assassinate him at that. But the big problem that I have with that fight is, again, we praise Glaive for being that decisive team that just ends games early on, but it does kind of come with the consequence where situations like that can happen. They just overforce, end up dying up in the top side. It isn't going to be too big of a deal. You mentioned it. What can they get? And it's not a lot. Beastlance is now sitting on that 2-item spike of the Gale Force plus the Infinity Edge, but the beautiful side of Kiba, he's sitting at 3.5 items with the Last Whisperer completed already. He looks most likely he's going to be able to finish up the Last Whisper here as well, and he is so strong at this moment that Flaming Thunder just really can't tank him at all. And the big person I want to mention in a lot of these fights is Issei. He is making it so that none of these big engage tools like the Gragas ulti or the Ornn engages is ever getting off, and that's what they need. If AOE God Squad wants to make a miracle comeback, you have to get these big Ornn ultimates onto key members like Totemax and Kiba, but it's never happening because Issei is just absolutely ruining any chance that Flaming Thunder has.
Totemax getting a solid trade-off onto Melscout. Baron Nashor has once again hit the map. Melscout's got to be a little careful walking around Issei like that. The man has been on point with the hooks, but Melscout now sitting on a ward is going to get caught out there by Totemax. And that might just be what Glaive need. Beastlance already taken so low, is not going to get collected on this day. But look at the pressure already. Glaive like hounds already thirsty for the hunt, going on to Baron Nashor immediately. Miho gonna get caught out here, knocked up. Last breath now gonna come through the EQ combo. Sharp Circle knows what he is doing, and this is what the long lane advantage that you were talking about before, Gunjin, is gonna allow the Yasuo to do, catching out Miho in the side lane. But with Baron supered up minions heading into the base, AOE God Squad, they need one more final stand.
They need a final stand, but this could be the play. Melscout does still have the ulti here. If he can get it onto Kiba, they could go for an engage.
Sharp Circle making his way into the fight. Melscout going to be able to body slam out, but that's going to be another hook. Issei's got the pick. Sharp Circle is down. His Guardian Angel coming through, but it's only Issei with another hook coming through. Kibe is going to be able to absolutely decimate through this fight. From Totemax, quadra kill coming through. The ace for Glaive eSports as they end game one decisively. They get the fight they were looking for. Glaive up 1-0.
Glaive up 1-0, and at 29 minutes and 15 seconds, Glaive eSports put the exclamation mark, as you said, in game number one. What a performance by Kiba there. And big shout outs to Issei and McShoots for getting the ball rolling, because again, we've gone 30 minutes in, but McShoots' early game was kind of the deciding factor in causing this game to become such a fiesta in that mid lane.
It was quite a party to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it, Gunjin. In AOE God Squad, I feel like really did put up a good fight against Glaive. Usually used to completely rolling their opponents in all of the lanes. This time, Totemax, a little rough start to the early game. It was quite the ping-pong debacle going back and forth. McShoot'ems, though, in the early game, Gunjin. I want to go back to that for a short moment. What a performance from McShoot'ems through that first couple minutes.
It's just those kind of performances are really what break open series. Again, these teams are matched up pretty closely. Again, as dominant as Glaive was in the entire regular season of mid league, they did have performances where they did end up losing to squads like AOE God Squad when the bot lane or Sharp Circle had that dominant performance. But McShoot said not at all today. He ganks bot lane, gets the pressure for Kiba that kind of starts the snowball, and then immediately makes the play mid to turn that very volatile mid lane matchup. And those kind of plays led to kind of like the overforce from AoE God Squad. They felt like they had to get Sharp Circle back in the game, or they had to
Yeah.
make sure that he's safe, because if they don't, they've kind of built their entire team around this Yasuo pick. They have the triple engage to set up Yasuo last breath, and they felt like if they didn't kind of um, overforce or make sure he was safe, then they weren't going to be able to get anything done. And at that point, it led to Kiba being able to sit in that bot lane, farm up, and become the monster he was. Great game by both teams. Going into game number 2, I want to see what they kind of fix up or what they end up changing. But we are going to hand it off to a short break until the analyst desk is ready to break down game number 1 and transition into game number 2.